Hey guys, welcome back to Red Devil TV. Man United 1, Aston Villa 0. A tough game where, look, I thought we played better football. I thought we looked better in spurts of the game. I would say for a couple minutes, every 20 minutes, we looked pretty decent. I would say there were good spells in the first half and even the second half where we looked decent. But I would say majority of the second half was absolute domination from Aston Villa. I would say that we struggled immensely in the midfield. We clearly saw Watkins and Buendia just skipping past our defence as well at times, and there was one chance where Buendia just went past Shaw, he got a shot off, and it was, man, I was thinking, man, we just got done out in the defence here. And look, I think at times there Mcfred had good spells in the first half particularly, but it's clearly a weak point in our team. And look, I think what the sad thing is as well is that in the last couple of weeks we've seen the likes of Rashford and Greenwood at times where they should pass, but they decide to shoot, and it's becoming very tiring now to see our team become a team full of individuals rather than a unit. And I think it's a bit worrying for us going forward. For me, I think at times Rashford looked very dangerous in the first half. There was a couple runs he made where he would cut in and he wanted to go for the shot. And look, as much as I want to say don't shoot pass, there were times there in that first 10-15 minutes where he looked like he was going to do something and probably score. And the fact that he took that free kick for me was like, okay, I mean, of course, Ronaldo's not only... Even Ronaldo in that situation wouldn't have took it even if he was playing, in my opinion. It was too far out. Should have went for the cross. And it just shows, like, is Rashford trying he's trying too hard, in my opinion. I think Rashford is trying way too hard to score. And essentially, he's playing as a winger. And look, yesterday we switched back to basics. We went 4-2-3-1. At times, it did look like a 4-2-2-2 because, in my opinion, Bruno is pressing way too high up. And when he's pressing, and then you have players like a Greenwood or Rashford who are not pressing as much as Bruno, we're going to get done out. We're going to get exposed in the midfield. We saw it yesterday. There were times where, you saw it. You saw it when we were going to a 4-2-2-2. They would go down the flanks, and then it would make us go wide, and then we'll get exposed down the middle. And that's what happened to McTominay and Fred. At times we got exposed in the midfield. I don't want to go too hard on Mcfred. I think at times McTominay and Fred looked dangerous. I think McTominay was definitely more confident in his passes. There were times where he put some brilliant passes, some brilliant long balls, which it's a heavy criticism of me of Scott McTominay. There were times where he just goes for that short pass and he doesn't go for that long range pass. And our left-hand side was a constant threat in the first half. I thought Rashford was a constant threat there. McTominay kept passing to the left-hand side, getting Rashford on the ball. Rashford would very rarely put a cross in. He's on his weaker foot on the left, so of course he's going to cut in most of the time and try and shoot or pass to the midfield. But, we went back to basics, and I kind of felt sorry for Cavani. At times, Cavani did not get any service. He was dropping too deep. And even when Ronaldo and Cavani play up front together in a 4-2-2 or whatever, even if we switch to a 5 at the back, they are constantly dropping deep to get the ball. And you don't want your striker to do that. And that just shows the weakness in the midfield. Because essentially, you want the midfield to defend well and get the ball up the pitch. I thought a lot of the times in the first half they did that pretty well, Mcfred. I think, the assist was from Fred and the goals from McTominay. There is something there, but when it comes to the defensive part of it, they are not defensive midfielders. And I think either one you play, if we get a proper defensive midfielder in January or in the summer, you're going to need a defensive midfielder who can have control there, and then you have possibly a Mcfred, a Fred or a McTominay playing beside them who can push up further the pitch, because that's where their strengths lie. It's in the attacking areas of the pitch. And again, Greenwood and Rashford, times where they need to pass and then they shoot. Greenwood had a few shots where it went straight at the keeper. We've seen Rashford put holes in the net, and he didn't do that yesterday. And honestly, even the fullbacks, when I saw Delo and Tellers, I thought, okay, Delo and Luke Shaw, I thought, okay, this is a good fullback combination here. I do want to see them go up the pitch, but a lot of the time, look what happened. Delo and Luke Shaw are constantly not getting the ball. Even when they were overlapping, they weren't getting the ball. They were just getting ignored by Greenwood and Rashford. And look, I did think there was something missing yesterday in terms of creativity. I would have liked to see Sancho play on the wing. I would have liked to see, obviously, Ronaldo up top with Cavani. But then again, we wouldn't have been playing a 4-2-3-1. We would be playing a 4-2-2-2. And I think there is a problem with that 4-2-2-2 now with our players. I do think that it's going to take time to adapt with that 4-2-2-2 formation. They need to... essentially we don't have the personnel to play in that formation, in my opinion, and it's going to be a struggle for us until we get the right personnel. People will debate that we need a right back, we need a defensive midfielder, but I think for now what we definitely need is a defensive midfielder. We need to control that midfield, and we saw that in the game yesterday. I mean, I like McTominay and Fred, but they are not playing in the right positions, and you constantly saw yesterday Fred Well, you saw times where Fred was going up, you saw McTominay going up. You know, you saw them constantly switching. You know, one would stay back and hold out the midfield, and one of them would go and attack. And we need a midfielder, and we've been saying that for ages. In terms of Bruno, I think what reminded me yesterday was I felt like Oli was in charge at points where we saw Bruno constantly pressing high up on our midfield. You know, his position in that cam position was just, there was space there to pass into. And that's why it was easy for Villa, because at times when Bruno was pressing higher than any other player, even Cavani, there was a space there to pass into. And I think there were the good spurts there where Rashford was where Bruno would press, and then you see that the Aston Villa centre-back would pass to the right back, and then Rashford would press, and then you'd constantly see Aston Villa getting put under pressure, but it still wasn't enough because there's still that space that Bruno leaves out. If you're going to press, you need to press as a team, and that's why there's always been this issue about Ronaldo not pressing apparently. But if Cavani's going to press, Cavani's going to have to press, and then you have your wingers pressing, then you have your midfield pressing all together. You need to press as a unit rather than as individuals, otherwise you're going to get exposed in the midfield and down the flank. So, look, in terms of the performance, it's a win. We're going to get Middlesbrough in the next round. The league game on Saturday is going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a tough one for us. I do think that Ronaldo's going to come back in. I think Sancho's going to come back in. I think, I don't know what happened with Sancho, but apparently there was some injury there. Ronaldo had a hip injury, a minor one apparently. So we'll see who comes back in. In terms of the defence, I thought Varane and Lindelof looked a bit off. Of course, there was that one touch he put in the second half where Villa almost scored from that. But you know, there were times where Villa could have scored, and of course there was the offside, and it wasn't even the offside wasn't even the point. It was the fact that Cavani got blocked there. So look, in terms of the game, it's a win. Who's going to come back in on Saturday? I'll do a separate video for that, but I would love to see Ronaldo and Sancho come back in. I don't think Maguire's going to start again, to be completely honest. Well, he probably is not fit, so he probably will come back on Saturday. I think Luke Shaw and Dalot will remain, even though we didn't see as much as attacking threat from Dalot and Luke Shaw. And that it just shows you can't play Greenwood and Rashford for me. You can't play them in a 4-2-3-1 or in a 4-2-2. You need to play one of them up top. And I don't want to see them in the midfield in a 4-2-2 either. So, guys, let me know what you think. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.